at the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you. Welcome to episode 65. We are with Jordan Beck, the Chief Operating Officer of Heritage Sleep Concepts. And before I have Jordan come on, I'm just going to pay the bills really quickly. If you haven't bought my book, Sell a Million, what are you waiting for? 101 tips to help you sell more furniture and more mattresses every year. And I want to thank Steve at Mattress Industry Network Group for his sponsorship. The Mattress Industry Network Group is a great group. It's a Facebook group to join. All you need to join is to be a part of the mattress industry. And there are a few questions, and they do say no to a lot of people because we want to keep it to conversations with mattress industry people. And what will you find inside there? Big dealers, small dealers, people that own stores just like you, regional managers, sales reps, owners of manufacturers, VPs of sales. The networking opportunities are literally endless at Mattress Industry Network. And if you do not belong to this group, you need to join. Tell them Pete sent you. And I would just say this. If you want to build your business, if you want to succeed in your business, you need to join the Mattress Industry Network today. And with that, welcome to the show, Jordan. How are you?
Thank you for having me on, Pete. I appreciate it. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I missed our rehearsal that we scheduled because I was having some technical difficulties. So I guess we're just going to wing it, buddy.
Hey, that sounds good to me.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
So I've heard a lot about your family over the years, and I am just your fifth generation, right?
Yes, sir. That's right.
So like you were putting bed frames together when you were what, 4 or 5 years old in a showroom factory?
So I think I terrorized the showroom more than I helped back in the day when I was growing up. My brother and I would run across bed to bed, and kind of like what a lot of the kids nowadays when they go into stores. I was one of those guys jumping from bed to bed. And our old sales manager Bob Ashburn, I know would have a fit, but kind of grew up. Being around the business, didn't know a ton about the industry or how my granddad's company operated. But the last almost 4 years, I've come in to the factory and to Heritage Sleep and kind of learned the ins and the outs the best I can. And obviously, I hope on expanding that as we continue to be in business here in Rome.
Well, tell me the story of, so it's 5 generations. Walk me through that just a little bit, because all I've ever heard Spears of Rome, Georgia, and the predecessor to Heritage Sleep Concepts now. So walk me through that. Why did they get in the mattress business? And back then, what were the mattresses? Just like hay and a cover?
So, my great grandfather worked for a mattress company here in town and kind of made mattresses for people in his neighborhood. It wasn't a big operation. His name was J.H. Sanford, and it was my grandmom's grandfather. And his son, Claude Sanford, worked under him, kind of learned the ins and the outs. and worked for another mattress company here in town called Level Mattress. And he was World War II guy, went off and fought in World War II, came back, and he wanted to open up his own company. And so he opened up a Sanford Mattress. He had bought Level Mattress from Mr. Level. And these mattresses, I've seen some pictures. I mean, these are about 6 inches tall, 8 inches maybe at the max. And I've got some pictures of him taping those beds. And he's got his little fedora hat and suit. You know, you're talking 1940s, late 1940s, early 50s. And Sanford Mattress kind of grew to be a little bit larger. I would think maybe he sold to Rome and maybe some surrounding counties. And my granddad, Terry Spears, married my grandmom, sold bread for Colonial Bread. And, you know, he knew that he knew bread wasn't going to be paying the bills for the rest of his life. And he did really well at that. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, he saw, you know, my granddad did very, very well for himself for what he did. And he said, you know, I'd like to give it a shot and go into the mattress business. And so my granddad, or my great grandfather, probably didn't weigh 150 pounds, but World War II guy, very stern, you know. My granddad said he walked in one night and was talking to my great grandfather, which is his father-in-law, and said, you know, Mr. Sanford, I'm thinking about going in business for myself. And, you know, I'd like to make beds. And, you know, I wouldn't open up in Rome. I'll open up in Cedartown, which is a county over, city over, and, you know, kind of go from there. And he said my great grandfather kind of stood there, you know, he's got his suspenders on, and, you know, he's kind of rocking back and forth. And he's like, all right. He said, that's fine. You'll never make it.
Wow.
And he walked off. And
Wow.
my granddad said he went back, and he, you know, he's telling my grandmom about the story and what he had said to him. And he said, you know, when he told me that I'd never make it, I promised myself that I would do everything I could to make it in the bedding business. And so, you know, for a guy that didn't get past the 10th grade of high school, I like to think he did pretty well for himself. So my granddad went in business in 1971 as Spears Mattress. He called his brother, and his brother Ed at the time, which was a couple years older than him, and he said, you know, Ed had just got out of his job, and he said, you know, think about going in business. You want to go in business with me? He said, yeah, let's do it. And so they got a $5,000 loan, and that picture right there is my great grandfather. You see him taping that bed up. It's amazing that I still have some of these pictures. Wish I had more of them, but $5,000 loan. My granddad went and got a sewing machine and a delivery truck. And what they would do, just starting out, is they would go door to door, knocking on people's front doors early in the morning, saying, hey, you know, can I redo your mattress? And they were pretty much a refurb business to start out. And they would redo people's mattresses and have it back to their house by the time those people, you know, got home from their jobs and to sleep on. So that's how they got started. They had, you know, this is 1971, 72. They grew that up and ultimately had a couple different locations. They were Lady Americana licensees, Southern Cross, and then I believe in 1981, my granddad was approached by Englander and was an Englander licensee in 1981, 82, and you know, just started growing. Ended up moving into a facility in the mid 80s, I believe 1984. It was about 350 to 375,000 square feet. Obviously, back then, you know, that was a huge factory. It was the largest mattress manufacturing factory in the country in the late 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. Very big. So they had plenty of room for growth. And, that's one of the biggest things nowadays. You have to have room to grow, because if you don't have the room to make it, that's going to be tough. And so my granddad grew spears from, knocking on people's doors to, he serviced 13 different states in the Southeast. It was about a $39 million factory, making beds there. My dad was the plant manager from 2000 to 2011. They were doing anywhere between 1,200 to 1,800 beds a day, or pieces a day, which is a mattress or foundation. So they were cranking out the business in the early 2000s. And my granddad was very well loved by his salespeople. He had guys that had been with him for 20, 30 years. It just makes it so much easier when you've got a good group of salesmen, as you very well know, a good group that you can trust. And my granddad took very good care of those guys. James Jones, Earl Cox, Bob Ashburn, some of the guys that I can remember that were always around. Rep Georgia. Bob was our sales manager with my granddad from, I think, the early 90s, late 80s up until 2011. So, he was part of my granddad's success. And then, my uncle, Barry Simpson, rep North Alabama for years. And he's with us now at Heritage, obviously. So, you can't find, it's really tough to find a great group of reps as a core. And my granddad was able to do that. And that's one reason why he was so successful, is because he had a great group of reps, and they made good product, built the Englander name up. And it was a top 10, maybe outside the top 5 brand at that point. And so 2007, my granddad had sold to a private equity group, and that group kept everyone on until 2011. And in 2011, they brought in some guys that could take it to the next level, so they thought. And they ended up bankrupting in 3 years and putting 165 people out of a job. And so my granddad was distraught.
Go ahead. There was a little glitch. Can you go back 2 sentences?
Oh,
say that again?
Yeah. And so
again?
my granddad sold to private equity in 2007. And in 2007, they kept everyone on until 2011. And in 2011, the group that had come in basically kind of got rid of management, and things weren't going the way they wanted them to go, and so they kind of had a plan to take things to the next level. And 3 years later, Advanced Sleep Concepts, which was the next company after they had sold Spears Mattress, that went bankrupt. And so they put 165 people out of a job. My granddad retired off into the sunset. Sales manager gone. My dad, the plant manager, got whacked. So they came in and they thought that they could, do things a little bit differently than how my granddad had kind of ran that company. And things didn't go as well as planned. And so, when they put 165 people out of a job, that was terrible for the community here in Rome. And my granddad kind of looked at it as a slap in the face. And he wanted to go back in business for himself. And so in 2015, we opened up Heritage Sleep Concepts here in Rome, Georgia, in 30,000 square foot facility. And we started off with 12 employees. So we're going into year 7. We were in 30,000 square feet. We're in 120,000 square feet now on 10 acres here next to the airport in Rome that we own. we were renting or leasing that facility. So we employ about 80 to 85 employees currently. So we're still growing. We're excited. Um, that's kind of how we've got to where we are now. One of the big things for my granddad when he was in business was he always did what he told people he was going to do, and that kind of allowed him to gain trust with the furniture retailers and mattress retailers around the Southeast. And he had a good name in the business, and so when we started up, it kind of allowed us to go to some people and say, hey, would you be willing to look at some of our products? And people were more than willing. They would give us a shot, and things worked out. And so here we are now. We're growing leaps and bounds, and we have a very bright future here in Rome. I'm looking forward to being a part of this company, and hopefully, of course, my goal is to grow this larger than my granddad's company. But just to do well and do what we're going to do what we're going to say we're going to do, and just take care of the people that's around us, and that's all that we can do.
What strikes me is he had sold the business. He retired. Hunter, are you making your debut as a movie star? Say hi to everybody, Hunter. My kitty cat is wants some camera time. He was retired. Obviously, he had done well for himself. He sold the business, but it hurt him to his core, and that's why he reopened. He reopened as an act of love and giving back to the community. That's huge. That's special.
Yeah. My granddad, when news kind of got started that we were going back in business for ourselves, Stuart Carlett's up at Bedding Industries of America, and my granddad were very close, very tight. Stuart actually was a rep for my granddad and great uncle's pillow company back in either the 80s or 90s. Me and him were talking about it at one of the High Point markets recently, and he was telling me, he was selling hundreds, thousands of those pillows. They were called +4, and he was telling me a little bit about that back when he was a rep. And now with him at Bedding Industries, obviously having the Eclipse and the Eastman House licensing. So my granddad wanted to become a licensee of Eastman House and Eclipse, and that was a great brand for us to start with and to grow in the Southeast. So that was huge. That was a great thing for us as a company. And obviously with my granddad being involved there for many, many years, Ed Siokas up in Chicago was a fellow licensee, Englander licensee with my granddad for many, many years. And I've heard stories of Ed more than I can count. And so, Ed ended up becoming an Eclipse Eastman House licensee with my granddad there. And so it's worked out great. Can't thank Stuart more than the opportunities that he's given us. And, he's got so many great brands and products up at Bedding Industries. And he's really, kind of the forefront leader, in my opinion, as far as kind of branding and growing those brands in the industry right now, because it's something a little bit different than not a lot of people are doing.
Yep.
So,
Hi, Steve. Thanks for saying hi to us. And
Steve, how you doing?
Hunter said to say hi to you as well. Stuart is amazing. I am so glad that he bought Ed's company. I couldn't have been more pleased. If private equity had bought it, I just wouldn't even put myself through that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even put myself through that. at this point. But the beautiful thing is we're owned by a family-owned company, just like Ed's family. Stewart's family is running it. Phil is just an absolute joy to work for, and what's going on right now with Bedding Industries of America is special. May never happen again. I've been very lucky in my 40 years that I've done this, and this is lining up with um, product introductions that literally made me millions of dollars in commissions. The new products that are out right now are special. They're different. They're visually different. They're spec differently. Their value proposition is crazy off the chart. And I guess that kind of leads into, am I going to see you at market, dude?
Yeah, I will be at market, and
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you there. I know the whole gang will be there, and it's always going to be a fun time when we get together. So,
It is. It's always fun. So, what states are you serving now, right? Uh, from Georgia.
yeah, so we currently service Georgia, Alabama, Panhandle, of Florida, North and South Carolina, which is new for us, and then Tennessee and a little bit of Kentucky. So,
Wow, that's a bunch.
yes, sir. We're growing, and we like to think we're continuously reinvesting in the company, whether that is machinery, trucking, anything there is to give the retailer a better product, or make it more efficient. From that point of view, providing the retailer with everything they need to make sure that they can take care of their customer. And nowadays it's all about reviews. So if we can make sure that that specific retailer gets a 5-star rating on anything, that's great. That helps them, and in turn that helps us. So we look at things as a long-term partnership rather than us just selling some retailers some products and being in and out of there. We want to partner long term, and that's kind of getting back to what my granddad did at Spears, and that's taking care of customers for many years. He had customers that bought from him for 20, 30, 40 years, and now we're trying to do the same thing at Heritage, and I like to think we're succeeding at that. So it's going to be very exciting.
Well, the room lights up every time you walk into it, Jordan. You are an absolute joy and bright shining star in this industry. So I'm going to put you in the hot and ask you, because you already touched on one of them. I'm looking forward to BIA line showing up in my new store. Awesome, Steve. I did not know you pulled the trigger on that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations, Steve. That lineup is going to be taking the industry by storm. I'm just call it right now. So you have heard all the stories throughout your whole life about successful mattress retailers, and probably a few things that, and that is the 5-star online reviews. It is so important that our dealers get these reviews, and not only that they get them, that the entire organization, from the receptionist that answers the phone at the retail establishment to the delivery driver who has the last touch with the customer, that everybody's on the same page with getting 5-star online reviews. Do you have any other tips that would help our retailers be successful in the new world that we find ourselves in?
I've being on the wholesale side, I don't know as much, from a retail side, but I've heard everything from giving giving free pillows away for just to leave a review, not even a 5-star rating, obviously, but just leave a review and give your honest, your thoughts on how you were serviced by that specific company, and they still give you pillows if you give them a 1-star rating or a 3, 4, 5-star rating. But if you're a good company and you treat people the way that they should be treated, those 5 and 4-star reviews are going to outweigh the couple 1 to 2-star reviews, regardless. And that's really what it is. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you just take care of people, and kind of control everything that you can control. And in today's kind of climate, making sure customers can get product in a timely manner has been really tough the last 2 years. And so that's kind of out of retailers' hands per se. They really can't control it with the way that foam has kind of came and went, as far as when everything froze in South Texas, and it
Right.
made it really tough for people like myself to get foam.
Yeah.
But it's been one thing for us at Heritage Sleep. We never missed a shipment during COVID, which kind of stemmed from us making masks for local hospitals. So those retailers coming to us, asking for product and seeing if we could service them, we had to turn a lot of people away, which was, being a salesman, I know you can understand this. You never want to turn away any business at all.
Yeah.
And for us, we had to make sure that we could take care of the current customers that we had with the given foam allotment. So that was big for us. And now that things have kind of opened up, we're still able to go out and find new customers, and still have customers calling us to see if we can service them. And they're interested in different brands nowadays. I believe that today's current climate is less and less more about the brand itself, with as many different brands out there. Kind of some things that you've seen a lot of is online, with a lot more people buying online bedding and mattresses. People aren't buying name brand as much as I think they were probably in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Nowadays, online, there's, Pete Primeau mattresses online, and people are buying those, or Jordan Beck beds. I mean, it's everywhere. People are buying regardless.
Yep.
So, as long as you're making a good product, and you can stand behind it and service your customers, I think that's the major thing. For a retailer, they want to make sure that they can find a manufacturer that's going to be there in the long run, and always put them first. Manufacturers are never going to be perfect. Retailers will never be perfect, but for us, we have to, when we do mess up, we have to, understand that, and we take action, and make sure that retailer is taken care of. And I like to think we've done everything we can here to do that, and we'll continue to do that. So,
Well, making the masks was an important thing for us as well out of Chicago. Ed worked tirelessly during that time. And when we came out of COVID, at our sales meeting in Vegas, I wanted to publicly acknowledge what Ed did for our retailers, for our families. He worked his fan off, and he's going to be able to retire and enjoy his grandbabies. But I don't think he's done just yet. He's still helping us make product and all that good stuff. My hat is off to all of you who found a way to continue to serve our dealers during that difficult time. And it took a lot of creativity, but more than that, it took grit. It took a determination to serve our customers in the face of being threatened by governments and everything else. So, anyway, I have come to the point where we do halftime. And anybody who has your book, Sell a Million, go to chapter 45, and it's page 71, which was my number in college. So that's a great page 71. And this is going to fly in the face of what a lot of people think about. But I want you just to listen to it, and I want you to think about it, especially if you own stores. Chapter 45, do direct mail. Direct mail is one of the most effective ways to get your marketing message delivered, seen, and read. In today's hyper technology world, direct mail may seem outdated, but smart marketers know differently. Every business owner should be using direct mail in various ways, and successful marketers know the best way to use direct mail is with a multi-step campaign, means multiple pieces get mailed over a short period of time. Do you know who one of the largest users of direct mail is? If you guess Google, you guessed right. It's Google. That's right, Google. If you're not using direct mail, you are missing a golden opportunity. One important way to use direct mail for finding new customers via lead generation campaign. This is where you purchase a cold list of leads. You can get it from actually the US mail. You can get mail routes. You can buy mail routes right around your stores. If you know where your business is coming from, you can actually buy those. You don't even give them to you for free. Anyway, I digress. The keys to success with this type of campaign are knowing your who is your customer that you want to respond, and what you want them to do. Buying or renting a quality list has a high chance of having many of those who's in it. Create eye-catching, benefit-laden pieces. Send out a sequence over a short period of time, tracking and adjusting as necessary. You've got dead zip codes, eliminate them the next time around. Do not throw your money away. Generally speaking, unless you are extremely promotional, you are looking for homeowners. So that is that. But interestingly enough, I have a paid marketing subscription. What was it talking about? They talk about the internet all the time, but using direct mail. It still works, guys and gals. It still works. You got to use it like strength. The beautiful thing about direct mail is you can do very small amounts. I've heard some really great stories over the years of people sending out 50 to 100 pieces because that's all they could afford to send out, and then bootstrap and then get bigger. Get creative with it, but it's not just all about the internet. You have to use different ways to touch your customers. You know, years and years ago, the only way we touched our customers when I started was in-person visits. If we called our customers back within 2 or 3 days, we were back in 10 minutes. Today, I'm not being responsive, and they're probably calling the factory saying they can't get a hold of me. So the world has changed. There's no question about it. And always think about this. When you own a store, you have an obligation to be as profitable as you can for you, for yourself, for your customers, and for all of your employees. So think about all of your marketing as just tools. Don't fall in love with any media. Don't fall in love with Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Those things come and they change, but your message, what makes you different, that's what you really need to focus in on. And if you have not and you do not know customers are buying from you, ask your consumer after they buy, hey, how'd you hear about us? Why did you buy from us? That's after you've already given them the receipt. before they leave the door, do a little market research and find out what your customers perceive your difference to be. And that's probably what your difference really is. Now, if that's where you want it to be, great. And if you want to move it, then take steps to move in it. But make sure that everyone in your company, from your drivers to your receptionists and your salespeople, are all on the same page of who you are and what you do. What do you think? What do you think about that, Jordan?
I like that. I think that's very well said. I know when you said page 71, 71 was your football number. 17 was my football number. So that's pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
That's awesome. So what's the latest and greatest at your place, man? Like, what are you excited about?
So, we just got back from ISPA Expo down in Orlando.
Tell me about that. I didn't go, so I'd love to hear about that.
Have you ever been before, Pete?
No, I have not.
It is very cool. That is my first ISPA Expo that I've been able to go to. And what it is for anybody out there that has no idea what it is, it's pretty much just for manufacturers and vendors, new machinery, new foams, new springs in the marketplace. You can find anything that's on a mattress at this show. So, it's really catered to manufacturers like myself to go down and see the latest and greatest of everything from fabrics to glues to wood for foundations, everything. So, kind of the different things that I kind of see, especially with the way oil is kind of going up currently is, 9-inch and 10-inch springs I saw for the first time. And I've seen 9-inch online and some mattresses online, but, never actually in person. And, with if foam continues to rise, I see springs becoming a bigger thing for some companies. I could definitely see that being an alternative to some foam layers. Obviously, more steel in a mattress means there's less foam. And, I think to a certain degree that could be used as a more of an airflow story, sleeping cooler at night, allowing your body heat to disperse a little bit more evenly through that mattress. And also just it's more of a greener story than foam, because there's not going to be as much glue or polyurethane foam in the mattress due to having more springs. So that's something that I think some companies might be playing around with in the future, if not right now. So that
did you see a bunch? Did you see a bunch of manufacturers jumping on those springs on the side and wiggling their butts around? Because the higher you get with a spring, the less stability that you have.
Yes, the more.
So was it passing that test?
A few did. That was kind of a big thing that I kind of saw that people might be looking at. Of course, the more kind of swaying it does have. But specifically, jumping from springs to covers, I was reading on for All Things Mattress a couple weeks ago. Someone had written a piece on cooling covers. I think the title was Cold War for the mattress industry, and I thought that was great. I love that. I can't remember exactly who written that or who wrote that piece, but I loved it. And I think that's a great title. True. Cold War in the mattress business. That's very true right now. I think cooling covers are kind of where customers love. When they come in and they put their hand on that cover, they're like, "Ooh, I love that."
Yeah.
And so I think more companies out there are looking at using more cooling covers than before, and I think that's something new that customers aren't necessarily accustomed to. And so, for people that are, go ahead.
So, by the way, what you're describing, these trends, our retailers love to hear like where's it going. So
Yeah.
trend number one that you mentioned is the profile of the springs is getting
Mhm.
taller. And the other trend is you're going to see even more cooling covers.
Yeah, cooling covers. I think springs might make a jump. I mean, nothing in stone, obviously, but that's something new that somebody might mess around with and use some nano cools or I think springs as far as layering and obviously a supportive core is something that's different, something that will continue to grow in the marketplace. Cooling covers. The next big thing I think is natural. I think natural is really going to be something big, and I had been working on a kind of a natural line to an extent with our homegrown line, which is organic cotton cover and border, featuring Elate memory foam, which has silver graphite and silver or silver graphite and copper in it,
Mm.
made by Carpenter. Love it. It's got a great feel to it. And then obviously tying in copper infused tallow latex. So you've got to kind of got that antimicrobial, anti-dust mite, anti-odor story with this collection that we've got here at Heritage Sleep. So that's just something different, a little bit more price conscious line, but it's really made for retailers to make good margin on. So it's
Yeah.
something that looks really nice, a little bit more traditional with the white cover and border, um, organic cotton, like I said, for both. And then it features gel infused quilt in the cover. Um, and layered with the toppers that I had told you about. And then it also features Aurora foam. So that's something. It's just a really high grade polyurethane foam that is very breathable. It works very good for heavier people as far as its integrity of the foam, the grades. I think a 195 and the ILD, which is pretty much going to be the firmness of that foam, I think comes out to be like a 9 or a 10. So it's a very soft foam. It's going to contour to your body exceptionally. Um, and then tying all those stories in with the silver and the graphite and the copper and the memory foam, and then the copper infused tallow latex. You're talking about just some great toppers, great fills, kind of tying in everything anti odor, anti dust mite, antimicrobial. So it's something different. That's something that I had worked on during COVID. Not being on the road as much in 2020. I kind of sat in the office, and that was kind of my little baby that I had worked on. Uh, 4-bed collection, stepping up in price points, and then offering a smooth top hybrid per se, um, with an all over cover as a sister in that price point. So that was something that we had that I had worked on, and it's done very well. And so that's something that a little bit different that we do compared to some other folks out there. But other than that, obviously the Embrace Talay and some of the other Talay lines that we've got at Eclipse and Eastman House, jumping up with Bedding Industries has been great. Here in the Southeast, especially, um, you know, my granddad at Englander used to bring in containers of talay or it was natural latex from Sri Lanka. I don't think they used talay back then, but would bring in containers of latex. And Englander back in the 2000s did very well with latex, and so a lot of our old dealers are um, very used to selling latex, and they understand the story and the feel, and they're okay with selling that price point. So it's been something that has been big for us. When we had Bliss 3 years ago, starting out with Bliss, and then now we're kind of using some new brands. So it's something that's very exciting. I sleep on latex, and I think something that a lot of people may not know is a lot of manufacturers, a lot of owners, and sales reps for manufacturers sleep on latex. I love it. My dad, that was one of the first questions my dad asked at one of the owners' meetings was, what do you guys sleep on? And like, I think 15 out of 20 people said latex, regardless of whether that was a hybrid.
Yeah.
Latex. I mean, it's just, it's got such a different feel than anything else out there. And I mean, it's a great product as far as longevity, integrity of the foam. And then obviously when you're talking Talalay, natural, breathability, I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. If you were to interview 10 presidents of manufacturers, 7 to 8 of them are going to be sleeping on latex. That's just one study after the other throughout my career has always said that. Every time I meet somebody new, I ask them what they're sleeping on. They're all sleeping on latex, yet we don't do as good of a job as we should in the industry of helping our consumer to have that same opportunity to enjoy the benefits of latex.
I agree. Memory foam is so very well advertised in the current marketplace. People honestly, they come into a store.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they ask of because they don't know of any alternative sleeping surface other than memory foam. And so, it takes a little bit more product knowledge to I guess relate from because I'm a salesperson also here in the state of Georgia. So I know exactly what you go through for North Georgia and Middle Georgia. So going in and really explaining the benefits of latex, how to sell it, and that'll help whether they're selling latex or memory foam. Being able to show them, hey, this is what you can have here. This is something similar price point, memory foam wise, and kind of allows them to go back and forth and see do they like the sleep on feel with latex or do they like the sleep in feel with memory foam. So you can't go wrong if you've got it on your floor because it's going to help you sell one or the other. So I'm a big believer in having latex on your floor, especially if you can sell natural, because I think the marketplace is leaning towards obviously it's leaning towards more natural products out there. So that's going to be big going forward.
Yeah. So one of the things that I try to coach my dealers, at least the ones that want to listen, is do not step down to a different story, step across to a different story. So don't drop price to show memory foam from latex. All price points and just tell the story, whether it's a latex story, a memory foam story, or a natural story. It would all be at very similar price points. And then once they gravitate towards one of those, then if you need to drop down, you could drop down. But I really like the idea of having choices that are at the top and don't really involve dropping down, because when you position one ahead of the other, you already set into motion a bunch of expectations from the customers, and whichever one you put at the top is the one they're going to perceive as better. And I don't necessarily think that's productive. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. What are you kind of seeing out there as far as adjustable beds?
I think lots of adjustable beds being sold out there, and I think that is, if you own a store and you're not selling adjustable beds, I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted. Unless you're really, really super promotional. And if you're really, really super promotional, you're just taking a very thin slice out of the market, because it has gotten to become very difficult down there to to make any money, and the future customers to have a premium experience. And when your customers get a better night's sleep and they wake up pain free and happy, that's when you're going to get the 5-star online review. That's when you're going to get the testimonial. And that's when you're going to get the referrals that you need to fuel a successful retail business. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. I do
No,
that.
you're good. I just kind of see that, as being a big part of the business going forward, with being an add-on sell, adjustables. With the rise of wood and freight, nowadays I just see adjustable beds being so much a little bit easier of a sell than it was maybe 5-10 years ago, and they're obviously a lot more price point friendly. Than they were 10 to 15 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So
With it.
I just got an adjustable bed myself for the first time. So that's that I'm enjoying it. I love it. So that's one reason why I wanted to bring it up with when we were talking about latex and you know transitioning. If someone liked memory foam, obviously with temper, with adjustable bases and latex beds with adjustable bases, they work perfectly. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
find a better bed or a better mattress to go on an adjustable bed than those two.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love mine so far. I've had it about 2 weeks, so it's been great.
So, Jordan, if I own a store in Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, and I want to do business with you,
I'm sorry, you
how do I
just
get a
broke up a
hold
little
of you
bit.
if I want to do business with? Yeah. How do I get a hold of you if I own a store and I want to do business with you? I go, I like this guy. I want to do business with this
Oh,
guy.
you can either give me a call on my personal cell phone, or shoot me an email, or you can go on our website, heritagesleepconcepts.com, and go to the info page and give us a shout, give us a ring, and I'll either pick up here at the office, or I'll get your number and give you a call, and I can direct you to one of our sales reps, and go from there. But I'd love to be a part of you know growing with any stores in the Southeast, and would love to be a part of anything that we can do to help you guys. Like Pete said, we're here in Rome, Georgia. We've got a showroom here.
When are you
Um,
going
Go ahead.
when are you going to be at market?
I will be at market either Friday or Saturday of. Is that April 1st? Is
No,
that right? I don't have my.
Friday's the 30. No, Friday's the 1st. Yes, it is.
Let's see.
April 1st is Friday. The 2nd is Saturday, right? Because I have
Yeah,
an
that's
open
right.
house on the 30th and 31st. Then I'm getting in my car. As soon as I load the last mattress on the truck, I'm going to be driving to High Point from Columbus, Ohio.
That,
So, it's hilarious because sometimes our dealers have a different idea of the luxurious life that we live, because sometimes at markets or an open house we will have a nice meal at a very nice restaurant, and uh, you know it's hilarious because they think that we like eat like that all the time, and I'm like, no, that's the only time I do that. When I'm with you, that's the only time I do that. And by the
yeah,
way, I'm driving 60,000 miles a year. Oh,
yeah,
yes. Chris, thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about my open house. The open house is just about booked up, guys. But if you really want to come and you're in Ohio, give me a call at 419-560-3169. I'll figure out a way to squeeze you in. We are super excited. Over 30 models to choose from. We'll have double-sided. We'll have, if you want latex, we have latex. If you want memory foam, we'll have memory foam. If you want tufted mattresses, we'll have tufted mattresses. If you want two-sided mattresses, we have two-sided mattresses. If you want bed in the box, we've got bed in the box. You name it. You want natural, we've got it. It's all going to be there. Over 30 mattresses to choose from. And Bed Industries of America is taking over America right now as we speak. Be part of our growth. And that picture right there is a beautiful, gorgeous Hemingway product that we are just so proud of. This is like going back 20 years in my career where I have probably the hottest line in America right now. And it is just an absolute joy. So be at the open house, be there or be square. Give me a call, 419-560-3169. And it's going to be at the Crown Plaza in the DoubleTree. As soon as you walk in, you're going to take a right and you're going to be in our showroom because we are right up in the front this time, which is very awesome. So sorry, Jordan, I did a commercial. Oh, let's talk about this.
No, you're good. Hey, that Hemingway line is a can't miss. Dave
it's-
Tenuta up at Bedding Industries of America. has
David,
been working on this with Steve Carnes and the rest of the group up there, and this is you can't miss it. I mean, it's one of the biggest and, in my opinion, brightest things in the industry in the last couple years. You can't miss it. It's a great program, and if you don't at least look at it, I think a lot of people are missing out. It's going to be a hit. Anyways,
what is this picture?
Yeah, so I was finally got off of ISPA Expo and went off to the beach for the weekend, staying in an Airbnb down in Seagrove, Florida, and obviously I've slept on Englander for many, many, many years growing up, and the side of the sheet had been kind of moved off, and so I could see the border of the box spring and the mattress, and I was thinking, man, that pattern looks just like an Englander that my granddad made. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna lift the sheet up. So I lift it up, and I look at the little card that you see right there that's in the mattress, 21st century Englander, and that's a bed that I slept on for many years, or at least very similar in one of the collections as the 21st century. That's a huge line from my granddad at Spears Mattress, and I spoke to the guy that owned the Airbnb that I was staying in, and he said they've had those beds for 15, 20 years or so, and they get more views on their great beds than anything. And I told him, I said, well, I know these are getting older. Whenever you need some replacements, you let me know, and I'll take care of you. So he's going to let us know here. He knows those beds have lived very long and done very well. So we're going to get him some new things, new mattresses down there in Seagrove. So,
well, as I said on LinkedIn, quality speaks loudly, but the way your family started, Jordan, the grit to go door to door, to work that hard, to schlep the mattress out of the house, refill it, bring it back before the close of business, that is a very, very tough way to make a living. And the heritage of your family is really something that you should be extraordinarily proud about, because I'm proud for you and I'm not even part of it. But what you shared with us today is really special. And I think that most of our retailers can tell you stories of their startups that aren't that far away. I think that the spirit of being independent and of working for a lot less money than we should ever make is the one thing that it doesn't matter if you're a retailer or a manufacturer that we all go through. And it's funny when they see, a bigger factory with 80 to 85 employees now, and you're getting bigger and bigger, and they are thinking that it was always like this. And it's not. It started off with two guys going door to door, basically, working for nothing until they kept reinvesting one machine at a time until they literally built an empire. And you're rebuilding the empire. And I am so happy that I got a chance to help tell your story here today. And I cannot wait to see you at market. For those of you guys who want to see Jordan at market, we show on the fourth floor of the Crown Mark building at 200 East Green in High Point, North Carolina. Be there or be square. Jordan, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Do you got any last words?
Pete, thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on. Been keeping up with your stuff on LinkedIn and the Facebook group. And so, it was a pleasure to meet you finally, a couple of Vegases ago. And I always love seeing your stuff and love the show. And got to get me one of your books. I'm going to order me one of your books after this. That's awesome. Like I said, can't thank you enough. And if there's anyone out there that would be interested in allowing us an opportunity at earning their business, I would really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Have a great day. And that's a wrap.
Pete. You too.
Take care.